under the age of 18, a student, you just left secondary school.
Yes.
And you hadn't yet gotten into the university.
Yes.
You say something happened to you. Yeah? Something very painful, and beyond painful. Can you tell us what that is? Tell me what that is.
It's, I have to say, like, this is the first time I'm going to be coming out, like, public to discuss this with someone.
Yeah.
It's only my family members and definitely my husband that knows about it. Okay.
Take your time.
I was still in secondary school and I came home. Meanwhile, then I was staying in Ilorin with my parents. I was born in Ilorin.
Right.
I went to my primary school in Ilorin, but my secondary school, I went to Gifted School Academy in Suleja.
Right. This was still in Kwara? Both Suleja and Ilorin in Kwara?
No, Suleja is Niger State, close to Abuja.
Right.
So I returned home for a particular holiday, and then my sisters, they all told me, oh, they are now going to a particular, like a club, but it's not a church. Right. It's a club. They were doing their services on Saturday. It was more like a gathering of young people to just come and dance, praise God, and listen to the word of God. That was how they explained to me. And the kind of person I was then, I was this kind of person. I was the vice president of the fellowship in school. I believed in tying hair to church, I didn't really want anything hip-hop, jumping, that kind of gathering. So immediately my sisters told me that that's the kind of gathering. You meet a lot of people. You meet prostitutes that have given their lives to Christ. You meet cultists that have given their lives to Christ. I was like, isn't it scary to be in the midst of all these people that I don't think I want to go. They're just like, Busola, just come. I reluctantly went, and I saw the different people that were there. It was clear I was the youngest. So I was always pinching my sister because the way they were dancing, I felt, no, this is not it now. This looks like a club, But then it was like, this is like a new way of reaching out to people to know God. So I was there. They said time for first timer to stand up. I stood up and I introduced myself. My name is Busola Dakolo, secondary school. Then I now shipped it in that I explained my journey there, that I didn't want to come here. I thought people would be like on serious set of people. How can people be praising God like this? But listening to the word of God, seeing people talk, it's really amazing, and I'm so excited that I came here. I was really, really a bold child, like I could speak up in any gathering. So after the meeting, that was where Pastor Biodun preached, Biodun Fatoyinbo, he preached. After I finished preaching, he came to meet me after the service, after the meeting.
Is the general overseer of the Commonwealth Zion Assembly.
Yes,
Koza,
yes, is the senior pastor there. But then it wasn't Koza.
Yes,
it was called Divine Delight Club.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't yet a church.
It wasn't yet a church. It was just like, and he wasn't married then, but he was engaged to his present wife. So that's how he came to me, and he was like, such a bold young lady, like I've never seen someone like this. It was like, wow, you need to keep the fire. That please, can you do something in the next meeting before I go to school? He asked when I'll be going back to school. So I said, okay, what can I do? That I can sing. I'll just try to sing, not like I can sing very well. He said, oh yes, that's great. That he plays the keyboard. That he would help me out, would rehearse together, things like that. So I told my sisters, and I felt, why do I have to be part of this your club thing? I don't want to be part of it now. But my sisters told me that I should not be too judgmental, because my thinking of Christianity then was a bit different. was kind of like solemn, you know. That was how...
What they call deeper life.
Yeah, sort of, you know. That's how I was then. So I decided, okay, I can't remember the particular day of the week, but my sister now took me to his house then.
Right.
He was living with his father.
Right.
The wife too there will be there sometimes, I guess, because that particular day she was there as well.
Right.
So I entered the
When
living
did
room.
sister take you to his house?
Because I was meant to do rehearsal.
Right, for this thing that he invited
Yes,
you
for that next meeting that
Yes.
I was meant to sing.
Yes.
So she left me there, entered the living room. He was already seated with the keyboard.
Right.
And as at then, I didn't have a phone,
Right.
no mobile phone. Even in my house, we didn't have any landline. So it was more like, I've already told you this, just work it out, you know, come at that time.
Right, right.
So that's how I rehearsed. And
So this was his father's house?
yes,
Right.
his father's house in the father's living room. So he asked me what kind of song. I think I even remember the song, you know.
What song was it?
I will serve you because I love you. You have given life to me, something like that. So I'm not a great singer. So I sang it my way, and then it was like, oh, great, rehearsed. I went back home. And the next meeting, I did the song. And as I was singing, someone came out to give his life to Christ. I got to realize the guy was actually even in cult, you know. So it was really a very touchy...
Where did the person come out of? So
from the congregation.
So okay,
like,
so you went to his house, you did this rehearsal.
Yes.
Then you did the thing the next meeting.
Yes.
Right,
I sang the next meeting.
It wasn't a Sunday, it was a
No,
weekday.
Saturday.
Right,
Saturday.
right,
It wasn't a Sunday service,
Right.
just Saturday gathering,
right.
Saturday evening.
So when you were singing, this person came to give his life to
Yes,
Christ. Right?
yes. So after the program, everybody, different people walked up to me that is like, you have that gift, that calling, just keep serving God, you know. Different people encouraged me. It was so clear to everyone that this girl, she's a very, very young girl, you know. So he walked up to me and he said, wow, just keep the fire burning.
That's Biodun.
Yes,
Right.
that's Pastor Biodun.
Yeah.
He walked up to me and he said, keep the fire burning, that I'm going to give you books
Right.
and cassettes as you're going back to school. Just be focused, don't listen to people, you know, things like that. And he gave me books. It wasn't on the spot there.
Right.
I don't remember whether he sent it down, but I got books from him and cassettes. It was cassettes then.
Right.
So audio cassettes.
Right,
So I took them back to school. I even showed my friends in school. I gave them the old gist about this new place that my sister took me to. And you know, that's how it was. And by the time I finished secondary school, I returned back to Ilorin.
Right.
And I was still contemplating, should I join this church?
You were not still fully comfortable with it?
Yes, yes. Because I went back to school. The kind of fellowship in school was totally different from what I experienced during the holiday. So it was more like I was living a dual life, you know. So I really wanted to come in terms with the particular belief that I want to flow with. Am I going to be like the FCS, the way I was in school, or I'm ready to join this kind of new environment? So I told my sisters, and they were like, see, this man is warded, he's now in church. It's Commonwealth of Zion Assembly.
Right. By the time you came back from school, it was
Yes,
already a church.
it was now already a church. So that's how I joined the church. When I joined the church, I joined the choir. Then we were at we're using a particular mall, Adamabola, or like that in Ilorin. There was a supermarket downstairs. So I was part of the choir. I would go for my rehearsals, everything. I just wanted to serve God because my background is I'm from a polygamous family, and seeing some things play out in the family, I didn't want my life to be like that. Like more or less like when I was in secondary school, as I was coming out, you know, this send forth that they are doing for you, and they're telling you you are going into the world. You know, I was beginning to get scared of this world, like, so I was having that mind that I want the kind of world that will make me happy. And since I was already a Christian, I was just like, hold on to Christ, that's all. So I wanted to serve in a church, just be zealous for God the way I was already zealous in school. So I joined the choir, and I wasn't talking to anybody. I would just do my own thing. My sisters were involved in self-fellowship.
Right.
We would go for evangelism together, and
But you were still in your shell. You were still afraid of this world that it told you to be careful about.
Yeah. And again, because it was a bit difficult for me to really integrate myself into the church,
Right.
because of where I was coming from. The FCS was
FCS is a
totally
campus
different.
fellowship.
Yes.
What's FCS?
Not even Fellowship of Christian Students,
Yes,
something
right.
like that,
Yeah.
So I joined choir, and then one day they told me, oh, even sing a song now, lead. I couldn't really sing very well, but I sang. And one particular day, Pastor Biodo now came to me. It was like, that you don't like to talk. How are you? You just look at me. How are you? Hope you're good and everything. Just be like, I'm fine. And then he started coming to my house.
Right.
And all of us in my family, we were so active in church.
Right.
When I mean extremely active in church, more like the Amukitans are so passionate about COSA, so passionate about Commonwealth. Anywhere we'd go, we just keep dragging everybody to the church, dragging everybody, just come to church, come for self-fellowship, things like that. And we were going through our own personal family issues,
Right.
quite all right.
Did it have to do with the fact that it was a polygamous family, or what were the issues?
Yeah, my father wasn't always around,
Right.
and then right from secondary school, we're already facing financial issues. And while I was in secondary school, there were times I would go to school without provisions,
Right.
but nobody knew.
Right.
I was very good at coping with things. Not discussing with people, I just needed to let me study well, come out of school, enter university, and get a good job. I really wanted to be there for my mom in particular, because I just felt she had gone through a lot, things like that. This particular time in church, he came to meet me, that's Pastor Biodo, and then he said, I noticed you're always all by yourself.
So you came to meet you in church? Or
Yes,
okay, right.
like after a fellowship.
Right.
Like you're always all by yourself, things like that. Hope you're good, So I said yes. So he said he was going to come to my house the next day.
Right. Had you ever done that before?
No,
right.
no.
So it was because he said he wanted to find out more about why you were quiet.
Yes, he just wanted to sort of know more about me, things like that, because we were always going to church. I guess people sensed something was wrong, like in terms of family. Maybe we didn't even have money, things like that, but we never opened up to anyone. We would just take care of our own business. There were days we would go to church, no food, but then we'll go back home and sort out issues, So the next day, he came to my house in the morning, and then my mom was in the kitchen. So I told my mom that, my pastor is here. He came in, he greeted my mom, and then I told my mom that, my pastor says he's going to buy some things on Taiwo Road, that I should just accompany him, So I remember that particular day, my mom was like, Busola, which one is this one now? She said it in Yoruba. I was not like, Mommy, it's my pastor now. I'm like, there's nothing, So my mom said, okay, no problem, greeted him. As in, my mom saw that, he left with me. So he was driving a white Mercedes-Benz here, like the old, I don't know the model, but old white Mercedes-Benz. And that was where we sort of started interacting. And he started talking, like, you don't say things, you're always quiet, what's wrong, So he was talking, I want to be a spiritual father to you. So at that point, even though in my world, I'm always very mindful of people around me. Like when I was small, because when I was like 10, one of my dad's drivers just looked at me one way. I slapped the man. Like, why are you looking at me like that,
Right.
you know? So immediately I was about to just put up a guard, you know, but then it was just able to like just break it. I just want to be like the father, somebody you can always interact with. And then really I didn't have like a good relationship with my dad.
He was always traveling, you say. He was
Yes,
not always at home.
yes,
Yeah.
at home. And then my sisters were all busy running their own lives, and I had my fears of all this thing of you're about to enter university. There's a whole lot for you to know about this new environment. It really I felt stifled in a way, you know, and I was a bit glad like, oh, I have someone to interact with. So it wasn't that particular conversation that made me to open up to him, but it was more like within me, I just felt relaxed, like, okay, you know. He just talked and he went to buy what he wanted to buy. He dropped me back home. Then after some days again, he came to my house that, okay, he was going, because the church was about to move from that particular location to another location that is like Wonderland, that's where they call it. So we would go to that site to go and see. So he took me that particular day again to go and see that place. We just talked that he's doing this. He just wants me to be talking to someone. And meanwhile, all these interactions, he asked me one time, do you have a boyfriend? I was like, no, I don't have a boyfriend. I'm a virgin, like nothing. And he was like, oh, that's really good. That just keep yourself, you know, don't listen to all these people, even all these church boys and church choir members. So it was good. It felt like good advice, definitely. So
felt like someone who was supporting you and who was helping, you know, listening to you.
And concerned about me as well, you know. So it sort of just, I became relaxed, like nothing, until a particular day, which was a Monday. I remember the previous day was a Sunday service, and because there was no telephone, no mobile phone.
This was before GSM.
Yes, I didn't know, and it came to my house. Meanwhile, my house then was, the gates opened. The living room is where you just knock the door, and someone will come downstairs and open the door. And this time my mom had traveled with my younger sister. It was just myself and one of my elder sister that was at home, and my house, like a duplex, was a duplex so big that if you're in a room upstairs down, you won't know what's going on downstairs, things like that. So I came down normally the way I come down, it was like 6:30 to 7. It was pretty early.
Right.
I was still in my nightwear. I was wearing a gown, my nightwear, and I heard the knock. Who is that? Pastor Biodo. I was first of all like, I couldn't say anything, like, what's this time?
So early?
But immediately I just opened the door. It just pushed me. He didn't say anything. He didn't utter any word. He just pushed me to one of the chairs in my living room, and I saw him like he was removing his belt. So I was like, what? He just said, keep quiet, do what I want you to do, and you'll be fine. So at this point, really, a whole lot was just going on in my head, because it was more like someone that I had put up here that I felt was really, really concerned about me. I had already filled him in the place of like a father that could speak to me, you know, guide me. He was there about to do something I did not believe. And then when I was just about to react, he just covered my mouth. And when he covered my mouth, I was just like, Busola, listen to me and you'll be fine. Just do what I want you to do. I didn't struggle. I didn't struggle. I just left him, and he brought out his pennies, and I was wearing a nice gown. I was wearing pants, pulled down my pants, and that was how he found difficulty to enter, but he just kept, I was like grunting, I would cry, I was just doing a whole lot of mixed feelings and all that, and he eventually penetrated, even blood dropped on the floor. And at that point, he finished what he wanted to do. He had an orgasm and he zipped up. He left me there. I just sat on the floor and he went out. So when he went out, sorry, just hold on a minute.
Sorry, take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
Because the thing, this particular time, as it looks like something that just happened, like an event, but a whole lot are damaged within me. As in, I don't even know how to define it, a whole lot. He entered his car. All I saw was he came back and he brought Crest.
What is Crest? Toothpaste?
No, a drink then.
Mouthwash?
No, a drink.
Like a soft drink?
Yeah, like a soft drink.
Right.
It was Crest. It had green contents.
Right. I do remember. I think I remember Crest.
Yeah,
yes.
so it was already opened.
Right.
He had opened it and he just poured it in my mouth.
Why? I mean,
I don't know. So he poured it in my mouth and I had to just be swallowing it as he was pouring, swallowing it. And he finished and he was now tapping me like, you should be happy I'm the one that did this to you.
Okay. Okay.
So, and then he left. He said, I'll see you. He left. But I should be happy. That is the one that did it to you. There is a man of God that did this to me.
You should be happy that the man of God
disvirgined me, sort of.
Okay, sorry. Let me be sure that I get this chain of events. And I'm sorry, because this is obviously a difficult thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
So you're saying that Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo, and he was a pastor at this time.
Yes.
He has set up this church called Koza in Ilorin.
Yes, he was married. The wife had given birth.
Oh, and he had the child.
Yes, the wife had given birth to Shindara then.
Right.
A very little baby.
Boy. And you were in the choir?
Yes.
That he'd like to be your spiritual father.
Yes.
And so based on that, he would come and visit you to help,
Yeah.
encourage you and support you.
Yeah.
And then one morning, Biodun Fatoyinbo comes into your house at dawn at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And without saying anything to you, when you open the door,
Yeah.
he pushes you
Yeah.
onto a chair.
Yeah.
He tells you to shut up,
Yeah.
and then he rapes you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so he says, I'm sorry about this, but
Yeah,
I just,
it's fine.
I'm sorry. And then he tells you he shuts your mouth, literally.
Yeah.
And then does this.
Yeah.
And then ejaculates, has an orgasm or whatever.
Yeah.
And then goes out, gets a drink, a soft drink, so he doesn't say anything to you apart. He goes out, gets a drink.
Yeah.
And you were so, according to you, were so overwhelmed, you couldn't even scream. You didn't even, you were overwhelmed.
Yeah, it was, at some point, I raised my voice.
Yeah.
But when he told me, and again, at that point, when I joined the church then, and my sisters used to say, oh, he used to be part of a cult group, something.
The sisters mentioned that he used to be part of a cult group.
Yes, and then he would mention it in some
So
messages now. Yes, like his testimony, how God saved me, things like that. At the moment,
So
it felt like that was the person I was facing.
Right.
You know, I didn't see him as the person that was encouraging me as the father. I just saw him as, wow, like he's a mean person, that he could just do anything to just satisfy.
I mean, yes, you were frightened. I mean, that would be reasonable.
Yeah.
So he goes out, he gets this drink, he comes inside, he forces it into your mouth, and then he tells you, and he's just disvirgined you as well.
Yeah.
And there was blood on the floor.
Yeah.
And he tells you that you should be grateful that he, as a man of God, was the person that did this to you. Okay. Where was your sister at this time?
My sister was still sleeping. And apparently, I think that the night before, she went out with her friends, because my sisters would just go out. I was the introvert kind of person. And I was just scared. I didn't even know what to tell her. Instead of me having time to even cry or anything, I was there trying to clean floor. I was quickly going to remove my pants. Then all I remembered was I ran to my mother's room. She wasn't around, so I locked the door and did like I was just sleeping.
Why?
I just felt... There was a scripture I used to have in my head then. Marriage honorable, bed undefiled. And watching how my mom and dad, how they were, I didn't ever want to lose my virginity before marriage. That was like one of the things that I felt, according to my faith then, that if I'm able to keep my virginity, I'm going to have a fantastic marriage. That was my revelation then. So it just felt like I had lost every single thing. Everything that I had hoped for was all gone. My dignity, I felt it was all gone. My sisters would call me aside because they knew I was a virgin. And they would say, oh, Busola, keep yourself. Oh, don't answer people, you know, we so believe in you. It was more like I was the flower of the family, like that precious.
Yeah.
So in short, I just felt like my glory was gone.
Gone. That was the first thing that hit you. This man just took my glory.
Like it was totally gone. I was on the bed. I would cry, go into the bathroom, pour water on my body. I think I had my bath up to 10 times that morning because I just felt I needed to be cleansed. I would go and wash up. I did not come out till like 12 noon. As at that time, my other sister was back, but I couldn't say anything.
Was back from where?
Like she went out.
Oh, she went out and she came back.
Overnight. Like she didn't sleep at home.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh, so she didn't sleep at home. I thought you said somebody was sleeping upstairs.
Yes, I had two sisters that were around then.
Right.
Yes.
So one sister had gone out.
Yes.
And came back the next morning, but the other one was sleeping upstairs.
Yes.
How did he know that nobody was there? Your parents were not. Your mother wasn't home. How could he have known that he could do this? How?
Yeah, it was. You know, I guess by the time he was already coming to my house, he already knew how my home was functioning. You know, oh, this person is not around. Because my mom and my little sister traveled that time.
Right.
So it was just myself and
so
my
knew,
sisters that were around. So nobody else was around.
Right. And he knew the way the house was big and all of that.
Yes. So it wasn't even something, he didn't do it in a way that it was inside the house. It was just the living room. Because it's a duplex, you open the door, you see the living room, then you have to step down to get to the dining area. So it was just the open door. It was just on this side. So it wasn't, there was no distance.
Wow, okay. I'm sorry about this.
I've
And so
lived with it over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the first time you're talking about this to anybody apart from your family.
Yeah, like it's, you know, I had to really come out to say this because I was already hearing things.
Right.
More like another narrative was being said. And I've kept quiet over the years. I know what I've personally gone through. I know how I've like struggled. You know, when you're just struggling, you're just pushing your head anyhow, like, no, there's something about me. You're trying to figure it out, you know, you're not just able to get yourself. And thank God I have people that are working with me now. They're able to help me through healing process. And I'm seeing a way that I can also help others, you know, people that are silently going through this kind of thing, because the pain is not what you can define. The hurt is not the kind of hurt that you can say, I even know how to come out of it. It's more like you're struggling. It's a struggle. When I mean it's a strong struggle within. You're trying to still see yourself with that high esteem, but you're not seeing it. You're trying every way. Sometimes you try to get it through validation of people. It's through what your friends. Sometimes it's through a lover. You know, you're sort of in a situation where you don't have control of things. You're just depending on everything around you.
Yeah, I see that. So I want to stay here where you are now, and then before going back into that part, however painful it is. So you said something. You said he has been spreading, or there has been a spread of a different narrative. Why? Who is spreading this narrative? Why would anybody spread a narrative if you've not talked about this in years to the public?
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
It's social media.
Yeah.
Like, I think my husband put up some posts, and then he mentioned from Ilorin to Lagos to, you know, Abuja, Dubai, you're doing this.
Your husband is Busola Dakolo, the singer.
Yes, Busola Dakolo, the singer, and he's aware of everything that happened. Yes, he has always been aware.
How long have you guys been married now?
We've been married for 6 years.
6 years, right.
Yeah, so he's been aware. It's not like it's a new thing. But then when you keep hearing news of this person doing this, this person doing that, and
by this you mean abusing other women?
Yes,
and girls.
Abusing other women, other teenagers as well.
Other teenagers, because you were a teenager.
Yeah, I was a teenager then. I had not even entered school. I was still trying to do my IGMB to find my way into university. So,
so I found out about this a week ago, about your husband's posts.
Yeah.
And apparently he came out, he didn't mention Bildung's name.
He didn't mention me.
So he came out to talk about this person who has been hurting women through the church. And apparently he had talked about it last year without mentioning names.
Yeah.
So this obviously had been something that had been deeply painful to him. So based on what you were saying, because he spoke out, you know, and the people that he was talking about, which is Biodun and his people, knew that Timmy was talking about him.
Yes.
So so you're saying they began to spread stories about you that you heard about.
Yes. I think in a way they had already even spread some stories.
What
because
kind of
the first time when it happened, you know.
First time when Timmy spoke.
Yes, when Timmy spoke up, someone was saying it, like another pastor was saying it, that, oh, he said you guys had an affair.
Ah, so you had heard the pastor say to your husband that Biodun said he had an affair with you.
With me.
Now, sorry, but you were under 18 at this time.
I was under 18.
If he had an affair with you, he was having an affair with a minor anyway.
Yes.
And this is obviously, because I've heard this part of the story, this is obviously a well-known pastor, even though we will not mention the pastor's
exactly.
name.
It's just a thing of, that actually made me, even before these stories, I started hearing stories, I already lost all the credit of men of God trying to do like they are listening to you, like they care about you. Since then, I've never worked in a church. I just go to church anytime I want, come out. I'm not part of any group. It's about my relationship with God.
So the first time Timmy spoke out in the social media without calling Biodu's name, you began to hear stories. That's the first time this stories then you got heard from this big pastor.
Yeah.
And then Timmy spoke out again this
Yeah.
year. Did something trigger Timmy speaking out again this year?
There was this, I was just there in my studio and I had
Your
phone
photography
calls.
studio?
Yes, my photography studio. And I had phone calls, you know. Eventually I picked up, Busola, don't check online, no. Something is going on. You know your truth. My sister called me. Then she was like, you know your truth. A friend just called and she said, imagine people saying rubbish, someone saying rubbish about you on social media. From where now? That Busola, just don't mind all these people. I was like, what? So I went online and I saw it.
You saw what?
I saw the message. The person put, go and ask your wife. The person responded on Timmy's post.
Right.
Go and ask your wife that was sleeping around with pastors in Ilorin.
Right.
Go and check the DNA, spending church's money. All that really, it triggered a whole lot. Like, I felt like I've been bullied enough. I've kept quiet for a very long time. You know, even when I heard there was this main story that came out previous year of a lady, you know, I didn't put my mouth, you know, I just kept quiet. And me keeping quiet, I felt like I was just losing myself. Like, you're losing yourself. Someone is bullying you. You're not getting the opportunity to speak up, to say something. DNA of my children, that's, in short, to just say, oh, she's promiscuous.
So these people were, so this lady, one of these messages that your friends actually looked at was somebody questioning the paternity of your children.
Exactly.
Because of what Timmy had said.
And Timmy never mentioned me.
Didn't mention you.
You. He didn't mention me.
Right.
I meant, so.
And so whoever was responding, these people who were responding, obviously knew about you and about what Biodun had done with you. And we're trying to manage this situation.
Exactly. So at that moment, see, I had a very long silent moment. When I just sat down. I had to tell my clients at the studio that, sorry, I just need to sit down. I went to the toilet and I sat down for almost 20 minutes. What should I do? I'm like this quiet person that I'm just getting to connect with myself. What's all this? And at that point, I started telling myself, I think you have to be courageous to come out and say your truth.
So before these accusations came, you were not going to come out and say anything about this?
Yes,
no,
I was just quiet. I was just quiet. Even when church members, some people would ask, what even happened now?
Is it church members? You mean Koza church members?
Koza church members, especially the early church members then. I would tell them nothing. Oh, I just felt like, you know, we'll get to that part where I would say how I came out of the church and things like that, you know.
But I'm going to ask again, even though I mean, if what you say occurred is an irrelevant question, but why did Timmy speak out again this year? What triggered that? You haven't
different people that have reached out to him, more like you are the voice that can help us. This person is still doing this.
Right. So because he had spoken in the past,
and
apparently, like you say, this Biodun continues. You know, people say that Biodun continues to have affairs with teenagers and below 18 and above. So people come to Timmy to tell him about what this happened. And Timmy is triggered again. Because this thing that happened to you that you know about is not happening to other younger women.
Yes, exactly. And that's actually the point why I decided to, let me come out. Let me come out and let them know that you're not alone in this. Like, it's happened to me. I'm walking through my healing process with great people. So it's a hard one. I don't know. It's really hard. But then, thank God for a great husband, I would say. Some people are still single. Some people are even probably still struggling in their marriages because of things like this.
Okay, let's go back. And again, it's a difficult thing, but it's necessary to do that. So Biodun does this and does this to you, rapes you, allegedly, and you go into the room. He goes home.
Yeah, he went home.
And then what happened? That's it.
That was on a Monday, and at that point I was just scared of him.
Scared of him?
Scared of him, yeah. And I love my family. I don't want anything to happen to anybody.
Because he's an ex-cultist, as he has said.
Yeah. So that image was more in my head than any,
pastor.
So the next, the Bible, I still had to go because my sisters were cell leaders. So I still needed to follow them. Busola, you're coming to church. Oh yeah, let's go.
You had to follow them back to the church that Biodun was pastor
church.
of. Had you told them about what happened?
No.
Huh.
I didn't tell them.
So, okay, so this was the same day?
No.
Or this was days after?
Yeah, days after,
So
but that same week. That same week.
So you'd been raped by Biodun, he had gone, you hadn't shared this with anybody, you were still dealing with the fact that as a young Christian girl, for whom virginity was a big deal, you just felt that somebody had taken something very important to you.
Yeah.
You'd not found the words to tell your sisters yet, but you had to follow them back to his church.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went for the midweek service. That was like the worst.
Did he preach on
sermon.
that day?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And it was about grace.
It was about grace?
Grace, the grace of God. You know, like no matter what you do, the grace of God has covered all your sins. Like God doesn't even see any of your sins. So I was there trying to understand what is this all about? What is this? In short, that day I just attended church because I had to attend my sisters. And after service, a brother came up to me, one of the protocols, and then he said, Pastor Modeli wants me to come and help at their house.
Who is Pastor Modeli?
That's his wife.
That's Biodun's wife?
Yes.
Biodun's wife asked you on the week that this happened to come to the house?
Yes, told someone to come and tell me that she would want me to come and help because she has a baby.
Right. To
come and help at home.
Has she ever asked for this before?
No. None of my siblings had gone to their place to help.
Right. So randomly...
So immediately, really, I turned to my sister. I was like, sis, I don't understand. I said, am I Omodo? Omodo in Yoruba is domestic help now. Yeah. What is all this? That was when she now said, that is not a new thing, that church members go to help her.
Right, okay.
So at that point, I was just like, okay. So Pastor Biodun now came. He just said, I'll be coming to your house when I leave to come and pick you.
To come and pick you?
Yes,
to go
it was
and help
evening.
His wife.
Yes, so I would sleep over.
So Biodun Fatoyinbo, after doing this thing,
walks
up to you in the church after preaching about grace.
Yes.
To say he will come and pick you.
Yes.
To come and help his wife.
Yes. That Pastor Modele needs me to help her. So I went back home with my sisters. At that point, I was thinking, should I tell my sisters? Should I not tell? Should I tell? Should I not tell? I was just frightened and afraid. But in my mind, I was like, no matter what, Busola, just prevent anything like this from happening to you again. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I still had to let me respond like nothing happened. Because I felt I was trying to keep my people safe. So after we returned home and he came, the wife was actually in the car with the baby. And he came to come and pick me.
He came to your house to come and pick you?
To come and pick me.
And he was alone in the car?
The wife was in the car.
The wife was in,
it's like after service,
right,
going
so both
home.
Came
so
to
you
pick
both
you.
came
so
to pick me.
From home.
Picked me from home.
Right.
And then we went. They were staying somewhere in Songo.
I'm sorry, I'm going to ask. I mean, I do work at Joy Inc. I know how trauma works. I know how this works. Well, some people are not familiar, so I'm going to ask a very stupid question.
Yeah, you can.
This man just raped you. Why in God's name did you go back to his house?
Nobody knew.
Yes, but you knew.
I knew.
Yes.
But I was totally afraid. I was a teenager. It's not like my dad was available that I would feel, and I didn't even have that kind of relationship with my dad, that I would feel, oh, daddy, this thing. I didn't feel like somebody was responsible for me. In short, it was more like him that I felt was responsible for me.
You.
Like I was beginning to see him that, oh, see the person that is being there for me. So it was more like my hopes were just shattered.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Everybody trying to find out how to navigate their own lives. Like that's how my family, they were all trying to just find a way. Hey, my sisters, myself and my sister were trying to enter university. But, they more like face your life kind of thing, face your life. There was just no other option.
Yeah. You were frightened. You were frozen.
I was frightened,
yeah.
Totally frightened, because at that point, like I said, I didn't see him as my pastor anymore. I just saw him as somebody that's maybe the old side never left.
You saw him basically at this point as this cultist that you have been told about.
Yeah. So that was how I went to the house, and I was always I carried baby. It was late already in the night. So his wife entered the room. So that's Pastor Dilly entered the room, and I carried Shindara. Meanwhile, at home, I wasn't the kind of person that used to clean the house.
Right.
So that was why I was even telling my sisters, like, you people are the ones that clean the house. I don't know why Pastor Dilly decided that I should be the one to come and help her cook and help her clean. That I'm not good at that. I'm just learning. They know this girl just came back from secondary school. So how can she do all these things? But my sister just said, I'll just go and help now.
Because they did it for people. He'd called different people.
Yes, he called different people. That wasn't the first time.
So it's the strange thing to your sisters.
Yes. So that night, I carried the baby, Shindara, and Pastor Dilly was lying on the bed that was in their own master's bedroom. So she now said, oh, Busola, have you eaten? I'm okay. I didn't bring any clothes, by the way, because I didn't have mine to have my bath, change.
Yes, just wanted to leave as soon as you
I would just sleep, wake up, and go and do my own thing at home. So I carried baby. Pastor Biodun walked in and he said, I've cleared the guest room for Busola. Busola should go and sleep there now. I looked at Pastor Dilly. I said, Pastor Dilly, you're the one that told me to come and help you with Shindara. I would like to stay on the bed with you. He said it again. But why would you want to stay here when there's a spare room for you? That room was meant to be like, I think like, he cleared the room in short. That you can go and sleep there. Because meanwhile, by the time I walked in at some point where I was just there alone at home, he came to me, you're going to sleep in a guest room and I'm coming to meet you there.
Okay, all right. So, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so when you came into the house with both of them, he found a way to corner you and say to you that you will sleep in the guest room.
And I'll come and meet you there. So, it was just, let her sleep. I said no. He walked away again. I made sure I just carried Shindara. She was a baby, really little baby then. So then she now said, okay, Busola, just help me. Let's lay the bed, everything. As we're about to sleep again, he came in again.
As well as sleep in his wife's room?
Yes.
In the master bedroom?
In the master bedroom. He came in again and said, Busola, he was just pacing the floor.
Pacing around?
Yes, like, he came again. You should go and sleep. You should go and sleep. I had to just look at Pastor Dilly. I just looked at this. I said, please, I really need to sleep with you on the same bed. At that point,
yes,
Pastor Modili now said, Biodun, please leave her. She wants to stay here.
Right, okay. Right.
So immediately she said that, he went away.
Right, okay. Right.
And that's how she slept, I slept. Then I stood up and I locked the door, the room door.
Right.
And that's how that night was.
Right, okay.
I woke up in the morning and Emmy cleaned the house normally. It was already. I woke up in the morning and Emmy cleaned the house normally. He was already in the living room with Bible on his laps.
And what?
With Bible on his laps. Yeah.
Right.
And then he looked up. I greeted him. He looked up. He looked down. Then he came to meet me. He said, nobody ignores me. That he wanted to hide that. I knew he wanted to do something with me. And I made sure it did not happen. He just said, nobody. At that time, I was even in the kitchen. He just slapped my butt and he left. And I went to, I just did all the cleaning that I needed to do at home, there in their house. I prepared food. Another church member came and, we finished all that. There was no time for me to go home. I told Pastor Dele, I said, I want to be going home now. Then he came into the picture. He said, I'm going out. Picture. Yes.
Peter said, when he heard that you wanted to go.
Yes.
Okay.
He said, I'm going out. I'll drop you off on the way.
Okay.
So I now told her, I said, I just want to go all by myself now. That, don't worry, sir, don't worry. This whole thing is just tiring.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
I've tried to be like a superwoman all along, like I don't like to remember these things.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
In a way, really, I see men of God to just be mean.
So, okay, this is very painful to go through, but you went to do this for other women who have gone through this, or who are at risk of going through this again.
It's actually difficult to say who have gone through.
Who could have,
because it's more like it lives with you.
Right, so it's not a one-off thing.
It's not a one-off thing.
So it's
because
who are going through.
Yeah, who are going through it. It's just like the level I'm at now, that's not where I was years ago.
Right.
But it's all a struggle. You know, that's poor self-perception. You just look at yourself like you're worthless. You know, when you visualize the image, you visualize everything that happens. It affects you mentally.
But I'm going to ask another stupid question. But why? Like, if someone did something so terrible, why are you the one that feels bad about yourself? You mean...
The way the whole thing changed after, like I will talk about it after he came, when my brother approached him and he started begging, you know.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
and
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's so that people can follow the trail.
Yeah.
So I sense that. I mean, I asked not to be told the story before the conversation,
Yeah.
but then I sense that there is something else coming because
Yeah.
he said to you, I would take. First, he had said
Yeah,
to you.
because that was the second time it happened again.
So it happened twice.
It happened twice.
In 1 week.
In 1 week.
Does the rape by building happen twice in 1 week?
Yes, in 1 week. So that day I entered the car, the white Benz.
So after you had said you were not going to go, he basically insisted that you had to go with him,
Yeah,
that he would
the
drop you
wife
off.
was like, go now, Pastor
Oh, the
just wants
wife
to
said-
drop you. I
The
was
wife
like,
didn't think to ask you,
no,
why are you so worried about going away?
she didn't. She just said, follow Pastor now.
Mm,
Pastor is going, just follow him, drop at the junction.
Mm.
So, because that was what I said, I would just drop at the junction of the house because it was quite a distance to walk from their house to where the taxi, you could get a taxi.
Mm.
So, entered his car with, there was a church member around then.
Right. Yeah, you
So-
mentioned that the church member had come
Yes.
in the morning.
Yes, so the church member actually just dropped off before we even got to the junction.
Right.
And then he was driving, I was in front. He was the one driving. He just changed, like he made a detour.
Immediately he dropped off this other church member, he just changes the route.
Yes, after we advanced to another level, like before we got to the main junction
Right.
where I could get a taxi. And then I was like, Pastor, go and drop me at the junction. Can I come down? Can I come down? He was just smiling. And then he was just saying different things like, I am yours. You do what you want, what I tell you to do. And he just parked the car when he got there. At that moment, my heartbeat was very fast because I knew something was about to happen again. Something was about to happen again. There was nothing. I didn't even think of violence. I didn't think of hitting something. I didn't think of that. At that point, he came down from his car and opened the door, pulled me out.
This was on the main road?